So this is our Jayco 195RB travel trailer. It's a 2021 model. So I want to show you some modifications we did to make life a little bit easier. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we've been doing. We originally used a weight distribution hitch from Equalizer on it, which is the one with the solid bars that you kind of lift into position. But I think that overstressed the frame on this trailer. It was too heavy a weight distribution hitch for it, and then ended up bending the A-frame a little bit. So I had to get it straightened out, and we had some reinforcement added under the frame that you can see there, or this here, and the bar coming along on both sides. And I no longer use the weight distribution hitch anyway. On the propane tank, to replace it, or to take the tank off to be refilled, I originally had to crawl under the A-frame and remove some nuts, and it was a real pain trying to do that. So I've changed it, put in an aluminium plate down in here, screwed it down with 4 or 5 nuts and bolts to the A-frame, attached some threaded rod with some little knobby handle things there, and made a couple of brackets that hook over the propane tank and hold it in position. Now I don't need to get under the frame to do it. It's much easier to take the tank on and off whenever I need to. Underneath the tank, on the aluminium plate, there's a wooden ring that sits in. You can't see it, but it's under that lower or inside of that ring there. It just helps to centralize and stabilize the tank a little bit more. It's about 3/4 inch plywood, I think I made it from, and just screwed that up to the plate. Okay, so let's go and look inside at what we did there. So in here on the left is a closet that originally had one hanging shelf in and hanging rail rather. So the hanging rail is still there, but generally not used. So I put some 1/4 inch plywood down here with a wooden frame there, some shelves going across, and as you can see there's some 2x1 wood here cut to the height that I want between shelves, and these plywood shelves simply rest on those, and they go down there and more down on the lower level in there. On the left hand side you can see that I've put a Velcro strap screwed into the frame, and that just holds a couple of fishing poles safely out of the way. As you can probably tell, that this wooden panel here I made several inches away from the wall. Didn't want to make shelves right across, and that means that in that space we have a folding table that we put outside when we're camping, and we also keep things like brushes and landing nets there for our fishing expeditions. Okay, next to that there was originally one of those cheap thermostats they put on, and this is quite a cheap thermostat. I forget how much it was, but it wasn't very expensive, but much more easier to manage than did a little thing where you had to move a lever and it was really tough and you're always afraid of breaking it. And in the bathroom, what we have here is the regular foot operated toilet and the small tub with the shower. And what this trailer does not have that we wanted was a sink. I know we had to have a kitchen sink, but we don't want to use that for generally washing in the morning and having a shave. Just doesn't seem very good, and we think every bathroom should have a wash basin. So you might notice that there's a couple of clips here. So let me show you why they're there. And so, just like that, there is a shelf that suddenly appeared. And so I made up this little shelf from 1/4-inch plywood, cut a hole in the middle of a suitable size, and the whole shelf is supported by those 2 clips at the back and the little bar that rests on the toilet seat cover. And when we want to have a wash or shave or whatever and not use the kitchen sink, which doesn't seem like a very good plan anyway, we simply take a small bowl that we purchased from the dollar store, put some water in it from here or from the kitchen sink, drop the bowl in there, plenty of room on there on the shelf for shaving foam, soap, razors and face cloths, whatever else we might need to get spruced up in the morning. And then once it's done, we simply remove the bowl, empty it into the bathtub, and on this little thing here we can move the leg like that, pull it off, turn it around and store it down behind the toilet. It actually goes further down in that. So this is the underside of the frame. You can see simple Schedule 40 PVC pipe, elbow cemented in each corner. Then in the center, a little T-piece here, but this is not glued in because we need to be able to move it like that. It is glued in. Oh no, it's not. This leg also comes out. So if we wanted to replace it for storage or anything else, we can just disconnect that whole thing. And there are screws through the plywood into those 90-degree elbows at each corner. And then when we're travelling, that can sit down behind there, out of the way. And it's not ideal. I'd rather have a proper sink in here rather than the bathtub. We've only used it twice, I think, in the 4 years we've had the trailer, and that was just to see how it worked. But generally, if you want a good wash, you can have a wash stood up rather than having a shower. Anyway, that's what we've done, and we're happy with it. Okay, thanks. On to the next one. We were never very happy about the seats on this trailer because they always seemed too low for the table, and when you're sitting on these benches it always seems that you're reaching up to the table rather than being comfortable. So simply enough, I'll remove that and I'll remove that shelf. We added wood here and around the sides and in the middle to raise the seat by 1.5 inches, and that makes a world of difference when you're sitting there now. That sits on there, so the seat's 1.5 inches higher than it was. If you want to make excuse me, if you want to make a bed across here for the one single bed. The table sits on here, but I do need to put some more wood in there and raise it up, because at the moment this table now, when it's in here, is 1.5 inches too low. So, or we could just get some extra foam, but that's something that we're working on. Lifting the bed on this unit can be quite difficult. It did not come with gas struts, so as you can see, we've added gas struts on each side of the bed. We had to add wood to make those struts in a good position, but now it's much easier for the bed to be lifted and lowered by one person without somebody having to hold the bed up while somebody else rummages around underneath, afraid that someone's going to let the bed fall on their head. Right, so that's easy enough, and you just simply close it with one hand and it's done. Back down. In under the bed storage unit, you may be able to see I've added some pegboard and some tool holders for screws and a few wrenches and bits and pieces over there. I've done the similar thing on this side, and there's a pegboard, cable ties, wrench, a couple of little baskets. And you might also see up here I've added electrical outlet. This outlet is not wired in, it's simply screwed into the pegboard. And then what I do with that, I take the adapter for the campsite. There we go. Then I plug in my adapter there, and also another one for 15 amp adapter. Then when I get to campsite, I know where my adapters are. I don't have to rummage around in the trailer or the tow vehicle or the basket trying to find them. I simply store my adapters in outlet, which is not really an outlet, just a storage position for them. So I know where they are and can put my hands directly on them. Okay, I think that's about all the modifications we've done. Bye. Thanks for watching.